Hey guys, Mechs here. So Fortnite Season 10 is coming to a close, and it's been a pretty shaky ride to get to this point, as we've had good seasons and bad all throughout the lifespan of Fortnite so far. But it's no question that this most recent season has been nothing but utter disappointment and constant annoying update after another. From the addition of the mechs, all the way to Epic attempting to remove turbo building, this season has been nothing but a downhill ride for Fortnite. However, although I think that these things definitely harmed the game noticeably, the real reason Fortnite has begun its downfall isn't anything that was added to the game this last season, but rather was something that has always been present in the game early in its existence, and also happens to be the one thing that has made the game the phenomenon of gaming excellence that it once was. Now, the thing that I'm talking about is the game's complex building mechanics. From the introduction of turbo building in the game in Season 3, the game's playstyle changed to that of a more build-focused mindset. Everyone started building more and more, and new building techniques and mechanics were being unraveled by the passionate Fortnite players. Now, this evolution of playstyle definitely didn't do anything except propel the game to the level of fun and popularity that it had in Season 3, and a few good seasons to follow. However, it was also this very same time that the complexity of the game's building mechanics were at its healthiest. It was just the right amount of complexity to keep the game fun and interesting, without causing little 5-year-old Johnny to smash his controller on the ground because he absolutely got destroyed in a build fight, or was a victim of some insane editing that we see in today's games. During this time, there was a good balance of building, editing, and gunfighting. The techniques were nothing crazy and were just super practical and easy to understand. The triple wall rushes, the simpler high ground retakes, and most importantly, the lack of box fighting. It was a simpler time, and the complexity of the game was what made the game stand out from all the others in a good way. There was no other battle royale that provided such a complex system of building and gunplay that Fortnite provided to its players with such a perfect balance as the game had in its earlier seasons. But like every other good thing, it cannot last forever. Eventually, the game's once perfect level of complexity that sparked it to become one of the most successful and popular games in history was the same complexity that ultimately began the game's inevitable downfall. Fortnite's complexity level did nothing but rise and rise to the point where insane building mechanics and crazy editing techniques ultimately became the game's new meta. The development of new complex building techniques was always a thing within the game, and the changing of its playstyle is as common as it is in any other multiplayer game out there. But it was the degree that its complexity changed and the type of playstyle that it changed to that ultimately caused such a big problem for Fortnite. The new playstyle of a build-heavy, crazy editing, constant box fighting type of playstyle that arose was just too much for most people to adapt to. There was this point where people just didn't have the time nor the patience to learn and work on the new building techniques, the insane high ground retakes, and box fighting skills that became a necessity to compete for a top 25 spot in each match in the last few seasons. I mean, I certainly didn't have the time to put in all this work. Gone are the days where knowing how to double or triple wall rush, knowing how to build a 1x1, and having decent aim were enough to win a fight or a match. It's come to a point where you either have the time or you don't, and that ultimately plays a major role in whether you find a game fun and play it or not. And the chances are that most of us don't have the time to develop the skills that we need to be able to compete and enjoy playing the game. We have school, we have jobs, we have other things that take up our time, and we can no longer just sit down and enjoy a game of Fortnite with a friend because of all the new metas that we simply can't keep up with. Most of us play this game casually, and the major skill gap that is present in today's game certainly hurts the group within the Fortnite community that just want to play the game casually and have fun in their downtime. We don't want to have to play a grindy game where you know you're probably not even going to make it out the first place you land. We don't want complex, we want simple, but the sad truth is that simple is gone. The game became such a grind fest, and inevitably so. With such a high ceiling in terms of complexity, the game was bound to reach a point where the skill gap was too much for most players to overcome, and ultimately caused them to give up on the game and start the game's unavoidable downfall. Now, with all this negative talk about the game and all the backlash Fortnite has gotten this last season, one good thing has come out of it all, and all its disappointments. A glimmer of hope that the game can possibly rebound from this downward spiral and potentially become the fun game that we remember it being. And that's the inclusion of skill-based matchmaking. The reason I feel that this might help slow the game's downfall is that SBM can alleviate some of the problems I stated earlier with the game's complexity and prevent the casual player from running into a streamer sweat every game they hop into. Ever since they added skill-based matchmaking, I've definitely noticed a more tame type of playstyle than I was seeing prior to its inclusion in the game. Now, SBM was a real nice addition to the later part of Season 10, but it is merely not enough to save the game, as in the off hours you'll possibly still get matched with some tryhards, as the chances of a person still awake with stats similar to yours are low. So though this implementation of SBM definitely helped the game, I think that Epic could do so much more to improve the game and bring it back to the level that it once was. and I will be elaborating more on this in my next video, discussing what needs to happen in Fortnite next season to make it a better and more enjoyable game to the middle-tier community of players that Epic Games have seemed to ignore lately. So if you don't want to miss that video, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button. And until next time, see ya!